The road to the Cheltenham Festival continues. The Dublin Racing Festival now over, and Marine Nationale was a great runner there in the Dublin Chase, second to Solness, ridden by Tote ambassador Danny Mullins. But today we've come to see Barry Connell to ask him about one of his stable stars and his other horses that might be heading to Cheltenham. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get plenty more content like this. But now let's head over and see what Barry thinks of Marine Nationale's chances in the Champion Chase.
This is him. He's come out of his race, brilliant.
Ran a cracker yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, look, I mean, that was only his fifth run. We missed nearly all of our novice season last year. So it's obviously a catch-up process in terms of experience-wise. We were the least experienced in the field. He's getting there. He had a very good round of jumping at Christmas. And put in a big performance and took another step forward again. He's taken a step forward with each of his runs this year, as you'd expect for a horse. He's lightly raced overall. He's only had 10 runs in his life.
He likes Cheltenham, obviously.
He likes Cheltenham. He's all the attributes. One of his biggest attributes is he is the most laid back horse you could ever come across.
Yeah,
like the day he went to Cheltenham for the Supreme, he was walking around the pre-parading like he was walking around the courtyard here at home. A lot of horses lose the race in the build-up. Like, he doesn't need earplugs or hoods or anything like that. He's just so laid back.
And you definitely think he's for the Champion Chase. He hasn't got sort of staying ability to go a little bit further or anything with.
No. He's pure speed. I mean, you see the speed he showed in the time he won the Supreme. I'd say he could be a graded horse on the flat. Wow. He has speed, but he also stays, because it was 2 mile 1 in Leopardstown yesterday. There is a decent incline there that people don't realise, and he hit the line really hard, and he had to do all the donkey work because the winner got a freebie in front, and we were the only one that chased him down. And normally, when you do that, you pay the penalty and fall in a hole, but he didn't. I mean, the winner has had 17 runs in his career over fences. Yeah. We've only had 5. We've very little to find. We've length and a half to find with the winner, which I think we will. So I think, we've beaten Gaelic Warrior 10 lengths, Critixios 24 lengths. Yeah. I know the betting doesn't reflect it as yet. I think Gaelic Warrior is still 6 to 1 and we're 10 to 1. But I would expect this is the best 2 mile chaser in Ireland. He's only a touch off winning the Grade 1 there yesterday, off of 5 runs and a curtailed novice season last year.
What would you make of the British competition, John Bond?
John Bond, you'd have to respect John Bond. Like most of his good performances have been on right-handed flat tracks. His record in Cheltenham is a bit patchy. Al Fabiolo beat him in fair and square in the Arkle. Like, if you want to look at kind of collateral form now, it may not mean a whole lot, but Quilixius, I think, was 8-10 lengths behind him in Sandown, and we gave him 24 lengths the other day. So I don't think the gap is too big to bridge. We're the upcoming, we're the 8-year-old that's been there, course and distance winner on the old course. Ticks a lot of boxes for me. He's coming the right way. If I were training any of the other horses in the race, this is the guy I'd be afraid of.
Yeah. So
that's him. You can see he's put a child up on his back. He's got the most gorgeous temperament, and that's a huge part of the equation when you have a Grade 1 horse, that the temperament doesn't get in the way of their ability.
Yeah.
So this guy's an absolute star. He's a very unusual pedigree. He's by French Navy. who stood as a stallion in Kildangan, which is 3 miles away in Sheikh Mohammed's place as the crow flies.
Yeah.
Charlie Appleby trained him by Shammerdale. He stood there for 2 seasons. He's in India now. He's a freak. He's only had maybe 5 or 6 other winners. So he's kind of a flattish pedigree on his on the sire side, and on the dam side there's a German influence, but there's some pretty good graded chasers in there as well. There's a horse called Draco Place that was a black type horse. But he's just a very, very smart individual. He's everything you'd want in a racehorse. Yeah. Like, he's tall, but he's not over heavy. Which is really important. If you have a horse, he's 16.3, so he's plenty big to jump a fence, but he doesn't have the big, strong, heavy shoulders that are going to cause problems with his, with his joints and his tendons and so forth. So, so he'll have a week off. He'll be going out to his paddock every day, chilling out, and we'll probably start him going again, and usually work back from about 4 weeks from the race. Okay. We have a Curragh licence as well as having our own.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Do you class yourself as a Curragh trainer still, even though
well,
it's
we have a Curragh licence, but
okay.
we have the best of both worlds because we only bring them there to gallop. So, say 3-4 weeks out from a horse running, they'll go for a couple of canters, a half speed, and then a piece of work. But when they come out the door here in the morning, they know they're only going to do a canter, so they're not revved. A lot of the horses that are on, there's a lot going out there, so we'll wander out.
Yeah.
A lot of the horses that are on trained in training centres, they're out on the Curragh, they're out in Newmarket every day.
Yeah.
And they don't know whether they're going for a canter or a gallop, so it just tends to rev them up a bit more.
When was all this built? Beautiful facility.
About 4 years or 5 years ago. It was a greenfield site. Yeah. We were lucky enough, it's about 45 acres. We were lucky enough to buy the property. It's hard to get land, nice parcels of land around here, so it was a greenfield site, and we kind of built it up from scratch. I had horses in training when I was riding in most of the top yards in Ireland and the UK, and I kind of had in the back of my mind always to do this, so I've been looking at all the various aspects of how people trained, the facilities and so forth, and try and pick the best of them. Yeah. This is our gallop. It's a 2 furlong sand, Wexford, deep sand Wexford gallop.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of the UK trainers are putting them in now.
Yeah.
They typically had hills.
Yep.
But we find this really good now. We do all our core work here.
Do you find with it being the deep sand that your horses go better in softer conditions? Or?
Yeah, they can do. I know Barry Connell got Nicky Henderson to put one in because his horses generally couldn't cope with the heavier sand. Yeah. So, no, but it's really all about core fitness. You've 12 inches of Wexford sand there, and we've a little inch of crumb rubber underneath, just to give it a bit of a bounce. So you can see how deep they're going into it there now. It's a perfect circle. So they'll go 2 furlongs around. The ones that are starting off will do two one way, 2 the other way. And then when they're up to full work, they'll do 3 each way. And that's enough to get them fit. And then, when we want to finish them off, we bring them to the Curragh. And we'll give them a couple of bits of fast work, bit of schooling. Yeah. We have our own outdoor arena there for schooling, and we want to just do a bit more intensive schooling and bring them to the Curragh.
Who have we got here? Is
they're 2 youngish horses there. we have got, they haven't run yet. We've got a golden horn and an Tote. I bought a few a couple of years ago when the stores were getting a bit dear. I bought a few flat yearlings with stained pedigrees.
Okay, yeah, nice.
We got one. This is a golden horn now. He's 4, and that's an Tote. We got a very nice horse last year out of 2 years in a row. I bought a few flat yearlings. We got a nice horse called AVONDALE last year. It's by Glen Eagles.
Yeah.
He's 1-2 on the flat, rated 80. I think he'd be a graded horse this summer on over hurls. And the good thing, he's been through our system, because a lot of horses that come off the flat have been in training since they were yearlings, 2-year-olds. Their joints are shot.
Okay, yeah.
So they don't want to jump.
Yeah.
When they go to put their feet down to plant, they're sore. That's why they don't go on to jump. None here. You see how deep they're going in there now?
What would that be the equivalent sort of going of?
There wouldn't be. They wouldn't race on
No.
it. You try running around that. Yeah. One of our guys does a bit of running. He runs around the road. We have a tarmac road around here. And he decided to take this on Monday.
Yeah.
Noticed it.
He didn't do it again, I imagine.
He didn't do it again. He didn't do it again.
Have these horses been named yet, or?
No,
No.
They're not named. We don't name them until we find out how good they are. Yeah, they're 2 smart horses there. They probably run in bumpers in the autumn, I'd say.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, very good.
These are the day paddocks now. So what we do is, when they're in training, they have hind shoes on, so you can't put them out together. So they're individual paddocks, but they can see each other. So that's Marine's one there. We're going to be putting him out there in a minute. Right, as you come down here, I'll show you these outdoor stables.
Yeah.
We'll go down and look. We have William Munny, who's possibility for the Supreme Novices.
Yeah. He's got some decent form, hasn't he, so far
he
this
has,
season without
He's
winning?
just too hard himself.
Yeah.
He ran with the choke out for 2 miles the last day. He can't do that, so we're going to try and sort him out. So again, it comes back to what I was saying earlier on about trying to keep the stress out of the horses' lives. You know, the more you can do that, the better. So some horses like it out here, some like it in the courtyard, and then we have a small little 8 barn up above, and some of them just like the peace and quiet up there. So it's very much, you know, just kind of trial and error to see who fits in well.
So do you think he'll still go to the Supreme with this lad, or?
He's going to run he's going to run Punchestown in 3 weeks. There's a listed winners of 2 in it, and if he wins that, he'll go for the Supreme.
Do you expect him to win that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The form certainly got a boost. He got beat off Cowabunga, didn't he? And then Kopek the Board beat.
He did everything
Cowabunga.
upside down. He made a number of stupid mistakes because he was too keen, and all he wanted to do was run off with the jockey, and he wasn't looking where he was going. Because when we schooled him at home, he was brilliant to jump. So. The latent ability is there, like his bumper form is excellent. He's not far off the top chasers or top hurlers. We just need to get him to drop it and settle. So we'll hopefully get that done.
How do you go about doing that at home when a horse needs to
We'll just do a little bit more schooling with him. We will maybe try a different bit on him and maybe just drop him in a maiden hurl with 20 runners. You can't really do it. But in a winner's race, there might be only 8 or 9. And it's easier to do it. And then if you are going for a Supreme or something like that, they'll go really fast. So like most horses won't be keen going the speed they go on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This mare goes for the Kim Muir, 9 Graces. She's very impressed with the last day in Fairy House. She won really well. She's a 140 rated over fences. I think 137 got in last year. But she's by Capguard, who's a really good sire of old-fashioned sire of chasers. And she was a good hurler. She ran to about
128, I think.
Yeah. No, she's 130. She's 130 now.
Yeah.
She started off at 120, but she won really well the last day. I think she got £10. So brilliant jumper. She's like a cat, in out quick, which is what you want for Cheltenham, because it's the fences are coming at you the whole time. It's not like a big galloping track like Leopardstown or Newbury. You really need to be on your mettle to jump there, and I think it'll suit her down to the ground. And Finney Maguire, who's our amateur, won on her, and he's the top amateur. He's going to ride her, so we'll be giving her a big chance now in the Kim Muir.
She went chasing over the summer as well, didn't she? Is the ground?
Yeah, we just gave her a couple of runs there just to get her going. And you're right, the soft ground suits her better. Now we probably won't get soft ground over there, but I think the extra trip will compensate for that. She's an out and out stayer, you know. So I think the 3 mile 2 there and loads of jumping will be the
right up the street.
What the doctor ordered. So they look like the 3 we're going to bring over. I'm not bringing anything over. It's just 2 or 3, probably 4 others I could bring over.
Yeah.
But I'm only bringing over the horse I think are going to win.
Excellent. So there'll be a treble.
I'm not going to go down that route. I'm not going to go down that route. But all I'd say is the ones we're bringing over will all be very competitive.
Excellent. What gives you the most pleasure? Obviously, you've ridden, you've owned, you've trained now.
Yeah, this is a different league. You know, like lucky enough to have ridden for 10 years and rode a couple of winners at Cheltenham, and it was brilliant at the time. But this is the whole picture, pulling it all together. Buying the horses, building the place, getting the staff together, getting the animals together, putting the program in place, and then executing it. So it's great. We have a small team here now. My son Rory works for me here as well, and the rest of the people are all locals, but they're fantastic staff. Because we keep the operation tight, don't really want to expand it, because it would mean taking on extra staff, and they're just not there. You know, they're very, very hard to come by. Goodland had tendon injuries twice, and he's very dependent on soft ground. He's not going to go anywhere near Cheltenham. So maybe have 1 or 2 more runs this season before the ground dries up. Because of the tendon injuries he's had, he's not the same horse as he was when he was a younger horse. Marine Nationale had a suspensory injury, which is different. It's once that's healed, it's healed 100%. It doesn't have any impact on their performance going forward. Whereas if you've had a tendon injury, you're only operating at 70%, 75% of your ability, because you haven't got the same elasticity. So I think what he's done so far, his run in Nace was really good. He was only beaten 6 lengths. I think that the winner is joint favourite for the Turners, and the second is favourite for the mares race. So as I say, it's just a pity. You know, he has had that history of tendon trouble, So we're going to mind him, and we'll only run him on tracks and ground that we think are going to.
Do you think he'll stay in Ireland for the rest of this season at least?
He will. He's not going to travel.
Yeah.
He won't ever travel. He won't ever travel.
Okay.
Like this horse is we're just minding him now, and look, if he wins a nice handicap, that'll do me. But he's not going to get back to where he was.
Fortunate.
Yeah, that's
the game.
That's the game. Yeah. That's how it goes. But as long as this guy's okay, I don't mind.